Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel, the Red Circle Podcast, with your hosts, Vanessa and Ed.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey,
I got my Indiana Jones hat
I
on.
love it. I'm here for it.
So we are going to go to the Temple of Doom.
Yes. Are we
So-
going to find the Ark?
The Ark of Covenant.
Yes.
That's an interesting conspiracy.
Yeah. People all over TikTok are like, they found it. Have you heard about all that?
Mm-mm.
They're always saying that they found it, but there's like videos.
The only thing
and
that they really
photos.
did find was Noah's Ark.
Yes. It was like on top of a mountain.
Yeah,
right?
and it became like, what is it called? Purified? Petrified?
Petrified wood.
Petrified.
Yeah, like stone.
Yeah, it reminds me of the game we played where I had a putrefied land.
Oh, yes.
And I won.
Yes, you did good.
I had a bunch of land. I had a bunch of soil or whatever.
Mm-hmm. We played a game called Earth, and it was cool.
It was cool. It was
Liked it.
cool. Jake's first game.
Yes, my husband's first like big game that he buys.
Yeah. We're going to be sponsoring board games.
Yeah, we love board games.
Yeah.
Ed and Sephra got us on board games.
And I got
Real board games.
Yeah, not Life,
No,
not Monopoly.
no,
We never play those games.
absolutely not. Ew.
That's called Ameritrash.
Yes, I like that.
That's literally what they call it.
Is it?
Yeah. They call it
Oh,
Ameritrash. I
that's
do
so
like
funny.
Risk.
I've played it when I was a kid. I don't remember it.
I do like Risk. We have a unique Risk that's actually kind of fun.
Okay.
Maybe when Jared comes, we could play it. It's called
Okay.
Risk Europe.
Ooh,
And it's
Well,
like
that's fun.
castles and knights and archers and
cute.
yeah, it's different. It's faster too.
Yeah. My dad hated life. He was like, when you play the game of life, it teaches you how to be an employee. And you don't need to be employee minded. So never play that game. I was like, yeah, F life.
You're like, wait, what?
I'm like in middle school, like now.
Remember when we played Cash Flow?
Mm-hmm. That was hardcore. That was a mind shift for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I want to do is like make money and save it. And then
Mhm.
watching you just like, because I'm risk averse. But I think females tend to be
Yeah.
risk averse. And Ed was like, I'm going to bet it all. And then he won.
No, several won.
Oh, she did win.
At the end, though.
She did. She pulled it out. And she was a cop.
Yeah.
And she slowly got out of it. And I was like a doctor.
I was
so I
out
had all
like
these
way
bills.
ahead of her.
Yeah.
I did like 2 laps on
Yeah, you did.
Really, I think the game you win once you get out of
The rat race.
the rat race.
Yeah.
The whole idea is you win to get out of the rat race.
Yeah, and like I had an opportunity to buy stocks
Mm-hmm.
at like lower than the average price, and I only bought like 10. And then I see you buy the next round and you bought like all your money's worth
Mm-hmm.
and took out a loan or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I didn't make barely any money and I sold it for the most that I could sell it for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dang, I got to be more into risks.
Yeah. So there's a thing actually talking about crypto,
Mm-hmm.
which our last episode was about crypto.
Yes.
There's a thing, it's called the Fear and Greed Index.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of this?
I feel like I have, but I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so if you just go to Google, it's funny, the thing on my Google search was wild harvested sea moss.
Oh, beautiful.
This is what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Not wild, what is it? Wild crafted.
Oh.
So there's a difference between, and I even did another search, was wild crafted versus wild harvested sea moss.
What's the difference?
So wild crafted, sounds horrible,
Yeah.
is 99% of what you'll see. I couldn't
Oh.
even find any wild harvested sea moss on Amazon.
Okay. Yeah.
So wild harvest is like you go to where nature makes
The sea moss.
the sea moss and you just harvest it out.
Mm-hmm.
Wild crafted is you literally make it in the sea.
Oh, okay.
So you like grow it. You get like a little sea area and you
then you
grow
grow it.
sea moss.
Okay.
Now, supposedly it has like 91 out of the 105 minerals that your body
sounds
needs
amazing.
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, but if you grow it, is it gonna make it? Because it's supposed to like grow on coral reef and stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So, if you know anywhere where I can find wild harvested sea moss, You know, we're pretty far from the
Let
ocean.
us know. Yes, we are. We are far.
People grow it in their pools.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I guess the problem is you have to like mimic the ocean.
Oh, the movement?
Or it won't grow.
Wow.
Isn't that
So it
crazy?
has to be agitated.
Yeah.
And I'm sure like salt, like there's a bunch of stuff you need. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's so cool. Yeah, there's a lot of secrets in the
What
ocean.
were we looking up again?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Oh, the fear and greed index. Yeah.
Squirrel.
Mouse. Yeah. Okay, so it's more properly known due to crypto. So it's a big thing in the crypto verse, in the crypto space. But it's great to understand what it actually is. Okay, so this is the fear and greed index.
Okay.
You see it? It's just like a gauge, right? And then all the way to your right is greed, and all the way to the left is fear. So we're like at a 62 greed. So we're not in the totally like greedy bastards one.
Is that like America, human race? Like what? Who
This
is
is
it?
what they are towards crypto.
Oh.
So if they're bearish, they would be fear.
Got
If
it.
they're bullish, they would be
So like if
greed.
everybody's selling, it'll go more towards the red.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you got it. So
Right.
the idea there is, I wanted to bring it up, is because the key to investing is understanding two things. Number one is you have to buy low. Otherwise you sell high.
High. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you don't sell at all.
You always hear that. Buy low, sell high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this. But the only way to buy low is to buy when there's fear.
Oh.
And the only way to sell high is to sell when there's greed.
Got it. That's a cool way to look at it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the other way to look at it is you have two boxes. One box is it's expensive.
Okay.
And then the other box is, or one box is overpriced and the other box is underpriced.
Okay.
So like right now, if I told you our house is underpriced or overpriced, are they expensive or are they inexpensive? Is there greed or is there fear in real estate?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everybody would say that it's expensive, it's overpriced, that there's greed. Right?
Yeah.
So that's when you sell.
Yes.
You don't sell, like everybody tries to like follow the market and then sell it at the tippy top. No. You just sell in this range of greed, and then you buy in the range of fear.
I like that because when we were buying and selling Bitcoin, I was like, I felt gypped because we sold a little bit during the time where it was still, I thought it was going to start going down. I'm like, sell it. And then it kept going up. And I was like, no. And so thinking about it as a range, you just kind of don't have that anxiety. Like you still made money off of it. You still did good. You're in that range.
Another way to look at it is poker. When you play poker, you have to get your money while your cards are ahead. So think about it like you're playing five. I don't know if you know how to play poker.
Not at all.
Okay.
I've watched it.
Okay. You play a game, right? With your girlfriends?
We play mahjong.
But you guys bet on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just think of that concept.
Okay.
So there's 5 people playing. And right now, as it stands, you feel like you have the best hand.
Yes.
That's when you want to take your wins.
Ah, okay.
Okay. You wanna take your money while you're ahead, rather than just risk it and lose it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So,
So
kind of be conservative with it.
that's
But
how you're conservative.
yeah. Okay.
You're not greedy.
Yeah.
The greed is what makes people lose money.
Okay. I can see that. Even like gambling, like
Mhm.
you just keep going next one, next one, next
I'm
one,
gonna
next
get
one.
more. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make more. You know what I
No.
mean? That's how you lose.
Okay. I've never been gambling. I've never
No?
been to Vegas. I've never been to a casino.
Oh,
I want to go.
yeah, it's fun.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, just don't go crazy. Just pull $200 out,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
and then go play it,
And then that's it.
and just give it to the casino.
Yeah.
And then if you double it, then you walk away.
Okay. That's the rule.
That's the rule.
Have you ever bet on the ponies?
Yes.
Yeah?
Here?
Is that fun?
No, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Aw.
But we
It
went.
looks like fun.
It is, but
I
you
want to
don't
wear a hat.
you don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any idea.
We went for a whole day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's we? You and your dad?
Me, my mom, her boyfriend, and my wife.
That's fun.
Yeah.
How cool.
I think my uncle was here too. And we went to, because we have a racing track, horse racing track, like
Mhm.
literally down the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was cool. You got to go see the jockeys and the horses and
Are they little? The jockeys?
Not as little as you think.
Yeah.
They're not like midgets.
I always imagine them as so small.
No, they're not midgets. Like Jake's probably
The
could
size
be
of a jockey.
He could be a jockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not like short, but
No,
he's not like big.
He's not tall either, yeah.
You know, like I couldn't be a jockey. My legs would freaking drag on the floor.
The horses would be like, get off of us.
It's like,
We're trying to win here.
It's like, yeah. But what was I saying? Oh, so the idea is you just have like a set that you're trying to win,
Mm-hmm.
and you base yourself based on that
On
rule.
that. Okay.
Okay.
I like that.
And that's the problem, is most people are greedy.
Yeah.
Greed will take over you.
Mm.
You have to make your money while you can.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't take your winnings, then you'll never win.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
Like I know a lot of people that refused to sell because they thought this was the super cycle
Mm-hmm.
of crypto. And they just rode it all the way down to the bottom.
Oh no.
And they had
down
been
to
in
15K.
And they had been in longer than I had.
Yeah.
They're the ones who brought me into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I did a bunch of research, and I was like, nope, I should sell. What I did is I sold half of my whole portfolio in the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sold half in the middle of November of the remaining. And then I sold the remaining half in December.
Mm.
And then I kept whatever the remaining was.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, I'll let that ride.
That's smart.
And it was all house money.
Nice.
It was all house money. It wasn't, I wasn't playing with my own money anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
That's so cool.
and then I staked it.
What's that?
Okay, so there's two types of crypto.
Okay.
There's proof of work, which is Bitcoin,
Yes.
and then there's proof of stake. Proof of stake is a crypto that you put up money and you let the crypto use it as kind of like a collateral or
Okay.
whatever.
I know that there's some that even pay you.
They do. They pay you interest.
Interest on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what staking is.
Okay.
So, like I staked a bunch. Like Polkadot was paying me like 14%.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Mm.
They're really cutting back on the staking rewards,
Mm-hmm.
which is so stupid.
Mm.
Because that was the whole reason why people liked the proof of stake, is because they could get these rewards.
Yeah.
But it's not paying that reward anymore.
Hmm.
Now, I don't know if the reward has changed because you have to get on the original blockchain, but the reward that we were getting on the exchanges have gone down quite a bit. Okay? So, like you literally could get money like I think the USD, the US coin,
Mhm.
like the stable coin,
Mhm.
was paying like 27%.
Whoa.
So you could literally get that money and then put it in a money that doesn't even fluctuate
Yeah.
and get 26%.
That's huge. That
Yeah.
percentage is really good.
And that's why I didn't trust it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, how are they making any money?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like you just have to think logically about these things.
Yeah. How does that work? Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, but people were doing that. The main thing is this, is that people don't realize the difference between you being greedy
Mm-hmm.
and you being conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why I told them, I was like, well, why did you go? Well, it was paying me this much. And I was like, didn't you think that was a little crazy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just too good to be true.
I feel like some people don't have that though. Like I have older family members that don't understand certain things and they just think like, oh, that's the way it is. And it's like, no, no, no. It doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, but it's happening now, so that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think it's not necessarily a scam, but it's not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. So that's the other thing, is if you understand the risk,
Mm-hmm.
you can play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'll play some of the risky stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. Like my mom and my uncle and I got my brother in,
Ooh.
all into crypto.
Yeah.
Now, I told them, I said, don't buy anything other than Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then
Yeah, because they're not going to be monitoring it.
no,
They're not going to
doing.
be, playing with it.
No.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, don't buy anything other than Bitcoin. And then they were like, okay. And then they started. My uncle bought Dogecoin,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're like, my mom and my brother listened to me,
Mm-hmm.
and then my mom was like, well, what are you invested in? And I was like, well, I'm not invested in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like,
well, then why am I invested in Bitcoin?
why am I invested in Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Well, it's because I'm over here in the streets. I'm over here like in the back alleys making deal for, Sucia cryptos.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
Sucia Crypto. That's a t-shirt.
yeah.
Sucia Crypto.
Yeah.
I really like that.
We should be that. We should name our crypto channel like Sucio Crypto.
That would be really fun.
I like that.
We should come up with our own crypto.
And then we'll have
coins.
and then we can have like a girl like on the street, like she's like the wayward woman, right? But the wayward woman of crypto. She's like, my room is full of spices, right?
Oh my god. All right, I like this.
Yeah, I think
we're gonna turn this into something.
Yeah. She's like, hey, you want to make 1,000% return? He's like, well, I do.
I do.
He's like looking around to see looking at like, is anybody watching me? I'm gonna go in this dirty room like this, yeah.
1,000% return.
Yeah, and she's
on
like,
Bitcoin.
just give me $100. You can make it 10,000. Haven't you heard about the guy that made a bunch of money on Shiba Inu? I think I did read about that.
I did. I saw that on someone's Facebook.
I saw that on somebody's Facebook. Yeah, why not me?
Yeah. I could make money. Oh no.
Yeah. And it's so true though. I can see the picture in my head, right?
Oh gosh.
And he's just like some dorky guy.
Yeah. Kind of gross.
Just like overalls.
I can do it.
Hey man, I can get girls if I have
Bitcoin money.
$10,000. I do have $100.
Take my money.
Yeah. So so I didn't want them to, because I knew they couldn't handle the swings.
Mm-hmm.
So like I flipped houses. Like, you want to talk about risk? Flip houses. You know what I mean? And so I did a bunch of that. So I kind of staggered myself. I knew I wasn't going to do Bitcoin because I got into it too late. This time, I'm in Bitcoin now. You know what I mean? I know Bitcoin is the thing that I want,
Yeah.
I don't want all these other altcoins.
Yeah.
I only want Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's really all I want.
Mhm.
Maybe Cardano.
Mhm.
I don't trust Ethereum anymore. I don't trust any of these other ones to actually invest for the long term.
Mm.
It's like Bitcoin and ADA, and that's it.
Okay.
The rest of them are all, who knows,
Yeah.
right? So, but I'll play the things
Yeah.
because I know that there's a bunch of idiots out there that are gonna play it. So I'm gonna just ride the waves.
Yeah. Do you do any stock stuff?
No, so it's funny. I studied stocks in college.
Mhm.
I got my dad got me into a network marketing company
Mm.
that teaches you to day trade stocks.
Network marketing, and it teaches you to day trade.
Stocks,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And it was called Investrio.
Okay.
Investrio. And I got everybody in my college in on it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then um, they changed the compensation plan right before I was about to get paid.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it went from to buy in, it was like 3 or 4 grand, to the buy in was now $199.
Oh.
And they paid me based on $199.
But you had people pay the couple grand for it? No, that's BS.
And then everybody hated me
Oh.
at school.
You're like, sorry guys.
Sorry, dude.
That was the risk.
Welcome to network marketing, where you lose all
Oh.
your friends.
Yeah.
We're starting a network marketing company
Yeah.
too. You should join.
You should join. I would never.
The potential spillover.
Oh
And
God.
then they start circles and lines. It's like, if you get 3 people and those 3 people get 3 people, then you're rich.
Mm-hmm. Easy peasy.
You're like,
Lemon squeezy.
yeah,
Everybody knows 3 people.
jeez.
My dad was in Amway, and he had like the board, the whiteboard, and he'd do his presentations. He was very good at it. But it's, and I wanted to join different ones because I'm entrepreneurial. So people that are entrepreneurial
It's
are
great
drawn to it.
It's great to start.
Yeah.
You learn what not to do.
You will learn what not to do. Exactly.
You learn how to be all enthusiastic.
Yeah, and like sell, and that's what I tell people. Like, learn all that you can learn. Just know you're not going to be a millionaire. Like you're not. What do they sell people the idea that it's like long term
Yeah. It's passive income.
passive income for your family. It's for your kids.
Yeah, like your family. Like I have a friend. He's in Amway still.
Okay.
He was in Amway 40 years ago,
Oh wow.
and he's still working.
Damn.
Right?
Damn.
He just texted me today.
Aw.
He's a real estate guy,
Oh nice.
and he sold everything, and he got into Amway. Stupid.
Yeah.
But
But you know what's crazy about Amway? Amway is the reason my parents found Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. Like our family needed Amway back then, I guess. And my dad's upline, Bruce and Wendy Anderson, they were diamonds. They would come visit us, and they told us about Abundant. So they're the reason we found Abundant.
Wow.
So it was great for our family, and my dad made some money, but
yeah,
you know,
it's nothing to write home about.
no. But that's how we found Jesus. So that's kind of cool.
The network marketing is all about recruiting people. It's not about the product.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all.
Unfortunately.
No.
So, where were we? Okay. So, like, yeah, my mom, that's what I had them invest in. And then it's funny, she wanted to buy altcoins, right? And I told her no. She's like, well, I want to buy some. And I was like, okay, well, if you're going to buy anything, buy Cardano. And she's like, okay. So she bought some Cardano. And then I told them, I was like, okay, I'm going to be selling. And they're like, no, it's going to go up. My brother talked everybody out of selling.
Oh, no.
So they all bought. My brother bought. So this is the thing. My brother bought the earliest.
Okay.
And he bought 1 or 2 full Bitcoin.
Whoa. Whoa.
at like 55,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my mom bought after him
Yeah.
at like 60.
Yeah. And that's,
And then my uncle bought after him like at 62.
yeah.
So they bought at the tippy top.
Yeah.
And then they wrote it all
The way back down.
the way down to oblivion.
Well, but they still have it.
They still have it. So
Okay.
they're fine.
They'll be fine. Yeah.
They're fine. But I'm just saying, I told my mom, I was like, just sell it and then you buy back. And she's like, oh, that sounds too difficult. And I was like, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so she wrote it all the way down. And then she would call me every 3 months. And she'd be like, so is this crypto thing going to come back? And I was like, yeah,
Yes.
it's going to come back.
Give it a minute.
I was like, you should have just sold.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, well, you know, and I showed her the whole videos and we would do Zoom calls. And I was like, but nobody listened, you know. Everybody's so smart. So you guys listen.
Yeah. But this
Wait.
is not financial advice.
Yeah. Yeah, listen to yourself and hold it all the way down. Hodl.
Mhm. Just keep it.
Do you know where that word hodl came from?
No, I don't even know what it means. Hodl.
Yeah, it's a crypto term.
Oh, okay. What is it?
So it means hold, but somebody on an old chat way back when in the beginning of it said, I'm not gonna sell, I'm just gonna hodl, but it was a typo.
Ah.
So instead of he did a LD, he did a DL. So it's turned into a whole
That's
thing.
amazing.
And that's
I was
why
like, it's in Japanese.
everybody says hodl. That's where it came from.
I like that.
Yeah, it's funny that Satoshi Nakamoto, right?
Yeah.
And that he sounds like a Japanese dude.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is.
Do you think we'll ever know?
I think I know. Or I have a
it's Putin.
theory. So there's one theory that it's Putin.
I don't think it's
Putin and a bunch of guys.
I'd bet tons of money it's not Putin.
Okay. And the reason they think it's Putin is because you know, they're really good like math guys, really good hacker guys, really good that kind of world, right? And he's been beat into a corner forever because of the US dollar.
Yeah.
And now you see this depegging from the US dollar.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And
we're seeing it actually like live right now.
Yeah. And you know who the other person they think it is?
No.
They think it's the Antichrist.
Oh. So if that's the case, are we participating in the Antichrist's agenda?
Not knowingly.
Well, if you think it's the Antichrist.
Stop it.
Oh my God. I don't think it's. Who's the Antichrist?
Okay, so they think that the person that invented it is a Jewish person in Jerusalem. And that Jerusalem is going to be the next person to take the world reserve currency status. It's not going to be China and it's not going to be Russia. It's going to be Jerusalem. And because it's gonna release a currency that's going to be backed by Bitcoin.
Whoa.
Now, like if you find out Satoshi Nakamoto has the biggest wallet, right? He's got all the Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin, like, okay, let's.
I like this one better than Russia.
Okay, that's good. Let's talk about this. This is a fun one. So let's say there's only 21 million Bitcoin ever will be produced. I think probably at least 30% of it is lost. Nobody knows where it is.
Yeah.
So if you do 30% of that, it's like 6,300. So 21,000 minus 6,300. So it's 14,000 Bitcoin in the whole world. Okay. You divide that. I think Satoshi has 3 accounts that have like 1 million in it each, or not 1 million. It's 1 million because there's only 21 million ever in existence. So he's got like over, I don't know, over like 25%. No.
Okay.
2.5% of the whole amount of Bitcoin, right? And he could, and let's say that crypto goes to, like numbers that they're saying like 5 million a Bitcoin, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got, 200,000 Bitcoin. Or no, 2 million Bitcoin. Like, I don't even know what that number is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's stupid money.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
So then he could just back it by whatever, Now,
But do you think it's too volatile for it to be something you could back, like, your economy on?
no, because Bitcoin will level out.
Mm.
So let me Google something. How many Bitcoin does Satoshi Nakamoto have?
I can't wait.
Satoshi Nakamoto.
I can't wait for ChatGPT to be an app.
You can connect it now with
You
Google.
can?
I sent you it, yeah. 1.1 million. Okay.
Okay.
That's the only wallet that they are aware of that he has. Right? They're saying that they're aware of. Because there's a lot of other wallets that nobody knows who owns them.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of these crypto billionaires and millionaires are all getting murdered.
Really?
You haven't seen that?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a huge thing.
Why are they getting murdered?
Even some of them, they posted like on their Twitter, like, they're following me, they're gonna kill me.
What's the
and
word
then
on the street? Like, why?
And then they end up dying.
So people with big wallets?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that the people that are murdering them are gaining access to their wallet or their whatever?
Okay, so Satoshi Nakamoto,
Mm-hmm.
or that's his pseudonym, or a pseudonym for people, a group. He has quite a bit of Bitcoin that we're aware of, because that was the one public wallet that he had that he was messing with.
Okay.
While he was, like, you literally could mine Bitcoin with your normal computer.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't even hard.
I remember people talking about that and Jake wanting to get into it before Bitcoin was mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand it. And I was like, whatever, do whatever you want. And then he just never did. He never figured it out.
Honestly, I think that Bitcoin mining is going to be an industry that we don't even know about. Because I think the cost of energy is going to go down dramatically.
Why do you think that?
The way that they're forcing green energy down everybody's throat, energy is going to be something like, we're going to figure out how to be more and more efficient in pulling energy out of the ground, energy out of the sun, energy out of the wind, energy out of everything. We're going to be so efficient at it. You can see we're doubling in efficiency every year, even with solar.
Yeah.
We're not there yet.
No.
But we're doubling.
Yeah.
And eventually it's going to make it. So
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, solar is going to make
batteries.
sense.
That's like a huge thing.
See, and I don't think it's even going to go there. I think it's going to be, people are going to have their own solar panels, and it's going to power their own house.
Yeah.
They're going to have a solar panel on their car, and it's going to power their own car.
But how is the electric company going to make money off that?
They're not.
But they won't let it.
I think that it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the truth is that for the elites, after they get the Fed coin, the one world reserve currency, they don't
have
care.
So much control of everything.
Yeah, they won't care anymore.
There's just like, energy is a huge industry.
Yeah.
And I mean, like,
and
oil, gas.
They already own everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not about
individual industries or businesses.
It's not about money.
Okay.
It's not about money. It's about control.
Okay.
So
I just feel like they can control us easier when they control the energy.
No, for sure. But that's the age that we're coming out of.
Okay. Okay. So we're on the tail end of that.
Yeah.
Because like even with your smart houses and having smart thermostats, like they're going to be turning off people. Like some places aren't even allowed to have their temperature lower than 70 something. Like, and I see it going more towards that, where they're controlling our temperature, they're controlling our electricity use. They're going to say, you know what, with like the carbon footprint, you've used too much carbon already, your car's not turning on for a month. I see it going more towards that.
That's where it's going to go. But
Yeah.
it's not going to be because of money and a
It's going
financial
to be
gain.
because of
Control.
Okay.
Because they already have, once they get your money and they can shut off your bank account, that's all the power they need.
Yeah.
They don't need any more power.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? And once they, so that's where it's going. And I think there's even technology out there that we don't even know about that would make energy so efficient that they wouldn't even.
They're killing that type of technology too.
But I don't think I think they're killing it from going public.
Yeah.
But I think they're keeping it in the back burner.
For sure. I was watching this thing where this guy was talking about wind energy and like the big windmills that we have, and they're just so inefficient.
Yeah.
They don't make enough energy to even like offset their costs. They catch fire, they die immediately, and then like the pieces and parts you have to bury them in the ground. Like they're very inefficient. And he had created a new type of windmill that's smaller, lighter, and it has a big one and then like several small ones off of it. It almost looked like a kite with like a tail. But it was all these windmills, and it made so much energy. It was so much more efficient. It was so much easier for the wind to catch it. And it just made so much. And I think somebody bought like his patent and then it just disappeared.
100%.
And I think he died. You know, like something like that.
Yeah, it's like the guy here in town that he made the car that ran out of water.
Water. Yes. Every time somebody figures that out,
tap water,
they die.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Atlas Shrugged and Who is John Galt? Because John Galt is the guy in the book, if you haven't read it, spoiler, right? He's the guy in the book that invented a machine, an engine that's like super efficient and it does all these things. And then he just disappeared because everybody was going to ruin it. So disappeared, killed.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they built their own utopia country in the middle of nowhere. And they go into a mountain, and then the mountain is like fake mountain. It's almost like it was like a hologram. And then they enter into this utopia town with all these capitalists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hardworking people.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. We're the takers, we're the eaters, and they're the people that produce things. We're the idiots, we're the goyim, and they're the smart people.
It's always funny when people talk about politics or different topics where there's power. And like a lot of, if you're not the elite, you're the other. Like we're the other. They see all of us as the eaters.
Yeah.
And people will talk about it like, oh, well, they and them. No. That's us. And you need to be very, very careful with the power that you allow them to have, because they see us as nothings. And it's just so silly how people see themselves as the elite. You're not the elite, honey.
The top of the pyramid is very selective.
Yes. And it's not us.
Yeah. It's not even humans, to be honest with you. Like, even the people that think that they are the elite, and they are technically elite, in reality, they are dead already. They're dead in their sins. The demons that are controlling them, the devils that are controlling them, they don't care about them.
They're just puppets.
They're puppets.
Yeah.
So they are the biggest useful idiots.
Ooh.
Because they're going straight to hell for eternity.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at that pyramid picture, there's a top pinnacle of this pyramid, you know, and you could say like the Council of 13 or the 13 bloodlines or the Council of 300 or, you know, these different groups, right? And then they have the little think tanks like, you know, the one with Charles Schwab, whatever his name is, the council, and then you have like the Council on Foreign Relations, which is CFR, all these little think tanks. But those people that are in the think tanks, they think they're part of the elite, right? And when the helicopter's leaving, they think they're gonna have a seat on that helicopter, right?
And they're
As
not.
the zombies are just attacking everybody.
Yeah.
Nope, they're not gonna make the helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, there's gonna be 13 people or 13 families on that thing.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then those 13 families, when they die, they're going to hell anyway.
Yeah. I was listening to a guy talking about, it was an interesting perspective on heaven and hell. And they were saying that Christians, the people that have accepted Jesus into their life and that they are going to heaven, their time on earth is the only hell they'll ever know because their eternity is going to be spent in heaven. And people that have not accepted Jesus into their life and they're going to hell, their time on earth is the only heaven they'll ever know.
Yeah, they're the closest to heaven that they'll ever
be. And then to think about how people suffer so much on this planet, you know, and like the hardships that we go through, and to imagine that this is the only heaven people will ever know because of, you know, not accepting Jesus as their Lord and Savior. That's pretty hardcore thought. It was like I had like paused it and thought about it. Like, damn.
Yeah, and it puts in perspective kind of what we're doing here. And you know, if I really believe there is a place called hell and people are going to go there, you know, that's the reason I'm passionate about what I talk about.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So that leads me to why you guys should subscribe to this channel.
Yeah.
It's like a shameless plug, right?
Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram.
It's like horrible. It's so
Heaven
funny.
and hell. Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. That's why you should spread the word
about our podcast.
Oh, no. It's
That's
like
funny.
So narcissistic.
Oh, jeez.
That's the way my mind works. So that's why it's funny. That's why it's funny. Because if it didn't work that way, it wouldn't be funny. Because it shouldn't. I was like, what's the worst thing that I could say right now?
Right now.
It's just to promote myself. Okay, let's do it.
Let's do that.
Let's do that thing.
That's the thing to do.
So, no, but I really do think that's the thing. Like, so if Israel does do the one world currency, have you seen those churches that are going up in Israel?
Yes.
You have seen it, huh?
A little bit, not very much.
That they have the three religions. They call them Abrahamic churches, and they have the three religions in there. They have the Muslims, the Christians, and the Jews.
Did you see that they're not allowing people to talk about Christianity on the streets?
No, they're trying to pass a law to not allow people to, what do they call it, proselyte?
Yeah.
You know, trying to convince other people to turn over to Christianity.
What does that mean? Does that mean you can't talk about it? Because I think that's what that means. Like, if you get down to the nitty gritty.
Now, you can't, like, try and talk to somebody else about it.
Like, this podcast
would be illegal.
Would be illegal.
Would be outlawed.
You talking to a friend at a cafe could be illegal about Jesus.
And that's because most of Judaism has nothing to do with God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not anti... What do they call it?
Anti-Semitic.
Yeah, I'm not the anti-Semitic. I'm super Semitic, I guess.
Yeah. Not anti-Semitic. I'm super Semitic.
Yeah, but I don't like the culture of some of the sects of Judaism.
Okay.
And some of those sects are very anti-Christian, anti-free will, anti-government, anti-God. they are not religious.
Yeah, they're doing their own thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
100%.
it's a racial ethnic group, not a religious group. And that racially ethnic group is very anti a lot of things that I am for. Like free will.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's crazy because we're Americans and we think about things through an American lens, and freedom of speech and freedom of religion, that's not a thing in most parts of the world.
Yeah, no.
Like freedom of speech is not a thing in Canada. I remember listening to a thing where this comedian was saying he was on Joe Rogan. He was saying all these like rude things because he's a comedian, and he was getting sued and he was getting in trouble by the Canadian government. And he was like, no, I have free speech. And they're like, honey, you're not in America. You're in Canada and you don't have free speech here. And it's crazy to think like comedians can't say stuff. You don't have free speech. And we have it here, but people are trying to take it away. Like, why? It's so crazy.
Yeah, and Canada is so stupid.
Yeah.
Canada's so lame.
Yeah.
If you're from Canada, I'm sorry.
Blame Canada. My grandpa's Canadian.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He says A.
Does his head talk like in the South Park?
Yes,
in
it
this
does.
little circle park? Like,
It does. And he says A.
That's funny. South Park is so great.
I know. It's the best.
Yeah, it's so bad. Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. Kids don't watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in a while, but I love it. All the clips are like accurate.
Respect my daughter. It's because the owners of it are libertarian.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very libertarian.
How are they even allowed to say stuff? Like with Hollywood being what it is.
They make fun of everybody.
Everybody. And that's what they should do. I like it.
It's funny that they haven't gotten canceled.
How?
Yeah. Yeah. Because all the stuff that they say.
Yeah.
You know, they go against everybody.
Everything. It's great. I like it.
Yeah. So, back to the crypto thing.
Yes.
So, the idea is there's a 4-year cycle. And every 4 years, there's a shock to the Bitcoin supply. Because the supply that the miners get is halved every 4 years.
Okay.
Okay, so it's halved.
All right.
So it will go. That's a good question. I'm gonna look it up.
Wait, what's the question?
In my head, right? And I'll
You're
say,
like, good idea.
I'll say it live.
Me?
Let me back it up. When will the last Bitcoin be mined?
That's what I was thinking.
2140.
Oh. Wow. Okay. That feels good. That feels okay. I like that.
Okay. Now that won't even. I don't even know if it will be a full Bitcoin. I don't think it will be.
I thought it was going to be like in 20 years. They would feel more scarce. So do you think people are going to be buying, like doing actual commerce with Bitcoin? I know people kind of are right now, but like, do you think that'll be the future? Like, I'm going to go to the store and put my phone up and I'm going to spend a half of a Bitcoin on a car or whatever.
Hold on. What happens to the price when the last Bitcoin's mined? No, that's not. How much is Bitcoin mining reward now? So it's 6.25 Bitcoin per block mined.
Wow.
How much is 1 Bitcoin mining per day? What does that mean? Okay, so I don't know what that answer is, but what was your question?
Do you think people are going to spend Bitcoin?
Never.
No. So you'll exchange it for actual money. Okay.
And that's what the Fed coin will be.
Okay.
Or the Jewish coin or whatever
it's going to be.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't even know what the Jews have as currency. Do they use dollars? Does
I
Israel
don't
use the
think so.
dollars? I said the Jews, but I mean the Israel. What currency does Israel use?
Probably not
The new Israeli shekel.
the dollar.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
funny. I always say shekels.
a shekel.
Israel national currency is the new Israel shekel, NIS, more commonly known as shekel. If paying in cash, most places will accept only shekels.
Mm.
How much is 100 US in Israel? Is 358 shekels.
Oh, I like that.
I wonder what a chart looks like. Oh, look at they got money. That's cool. I don't know who these people are on the currency.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks pretty. It's very colorful.
Look like Monopoly money.
It does.
So, yeah, they got coins too. Shekels. That's cool. Okay, but I think it's interesting to think of Israel as being the place.
I see them as very smart, very
They're
self-sustaining.
stuck in the Middle East,
Yeah.
and they're the most hated people in the Middle East, and they thrive.
Yeah. I was when all of the Iron Curtain that they have, and was it the Palestinians that were attacking them with missiles and things?
Yeah.
So everybody on TikTok was like, "This is unfair." Like the fact that they have the Iron Curtain is not fair. Their technology is not cool. So you want them to be able to be bombed to hell? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? That's not fair. Anybody should be able to bomb them. What are you trying to say? So they shouldn't be able to defend themselves? They're being bombed. And it wasn't like the Iron Curtain was being used to demolish other people. It was being used to defend themselves. How is this not fair?
They do. Okay, now I am not.
I don't know much about it.
This whole Palestinian-Israeli issue is a hot topic.
It's a super hot topic.
I don't.
They should be able to defend themselves.
Yes, everybody should be able to defend themselves, 100%. You know, except for Iran. Just kidding. Maybe. I think that Israel has a true sovereign right to be in Israel, and Israel, it does encompass Palestinians, Palestine. Palestinians don't have a historical record for being in Palestine that's older than Israel. That being said, neither does America. Neither does, freaking France. You know what I mean? Like, whoever conquers and owns whatever they own.
And that's how it's always been.
Yeah, like.
And not that it's.
If that's gonna be so, then we're gonna give all the land back to the Native Americans, or.
Yeah, like who was the first?
Yeah.
Who was the first?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very weird, tricky topic.
So
but it is weird that they're trying to figure out who was the first to give it back to him. That's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
It's not realistic.
Because then we would give where we're at back to Mexico, and then Mexico would give it back to Spain, and then Spain would give it back to the Native Americans.
The Native Americans, yeah. It's just like, and it's just the way it works, and it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just you conquer, they take over, and
you want to give everything back to barbarians. Trace your ancestors back to barbarians.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to give it back to
and we don't
the
do
Mongols.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Like India. Like, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You have to keep going back and figure out who conquered where, and you're like, well, what about the Crusades and who won the Crusades? And like, well, they beat these people, so we should, like,
yeah.
No, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
very interesting.
I don't care really.
Yeah.
Like I like Israel and
Mhm.
I support Israel as a state.
Mhm.
I don't really necessarily know if they're actual Jews.
Mhm.
Like the whole Jewish thing, it's way above my pay grade. I
Mhm.
haven't figured it out yet.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Who's the real Jews? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
They have Sephardic Jews. They have these different types of Jews. They have and I like how are we gonna know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are we gonna dig up people in Israel, which is a huge problem?
What do you mean? Like people
You're
are
not
doing that?
supposed to
Oh, okay.
disrupt anybody's
Great.
body. Like it's a big thing if you're a Jew and you die. Like they have to sop up the blood
Oh.
and bury you with your blood. Like
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, like you know in the Passion of the Christ when Jesus was getting whipped
Mhm.
and his mom would go and sop up the blood.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's why.
That's why. Yeah, it's like sacred. The blood is sacred in Israel.
Do they, I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do they embalm people?
I don't think so.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but
You know, it was kind of
there's a thing
freaky.
they don't want to lose the blood. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, they need to be buried with their blood.
Mhm,
There's a reason for it. That's interesting.
mhm,
One thing that was really, my grandpa passed away a couple months ago.
mhm.
And when they buried him, they, of course, they did all like the embalming things, whatever they do. And then he had his casket, which was wood. And then they covered it in plastic and zip tied it shut.
Mm,
The casket.
mm,
It's really weird. And then they put it in the ground. Why
mm.
do they put it in plastic?
That's new. I've never
I've
seen that.
never seen that before. It was like a huge, perfectly sized for
Maybe he
casket
had
trash bag.
COVID.
No. They had COVID in the beginning and they kicked it.
No, but I'm just saying. You know how people are weird with
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah. But yeah.
And he's in there with a mask on,
Oh my
with gloves.
God, could you imagine? Absolutely not. And my grandparents are Catholic.
Oh no!
His service was so
Took
bad.
took so long.
It took forever. It was like
Catholic
it
services
was
are rough.
it took so long. It was so impersonal.
Yeah, yeah.
And my grandpa literally with his own hands and parts of his old house built the church that they go to, Santa Teresita.
Really?
Yes, he had an old house that they had to tear down. And like the wood flooring was the wood flooring in the church. One of their doors is one of the doors of the church. And my grandpa built this church. And he wasn't allowed to have his services at that church. They had to have services somewhere else,
Why?
which was, I don't know. The priest wasn't able to whatever. I don't know. I was upset because grandpa literally built that church with his own hands.
Jeez.
Parts of his house are the building pieces of this church,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't have his services there. And then this man, it was like a scene straight out of Nacho Libre with a guitar. He was like, bring the Lord is my life for like 5 minutes. And I thought he was singing in Spanish because most of it was in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand Spanish, so it just all sounded like nonsense. And then halfway through, I realized he's speaking in English, but his accent was so thick and it was so off key, it sounded like Spanish. It was so bad, Ed. And then the priest comes up and it's like, do you even know my grandpa? He was like, Carlos Garcia Marquez loved his Mexican food and his mariachis. That's all he said about my grandpa. I'm like, I'm like looking around. My dad, I could tell my dad was so upset. Like, just like, what is this garbage? You know? It was just I haven't been to a Catholic service in a long time. And I loved my grandpa. And for that to be his service was like a joke. It was really not great.
Yeah, I want like whaling.
Yeah.
I want to hire whalers. Remember I was telling my wife, she's like rolling her eyes.
She's like, no.
She couldn't roll her eyes any harder. Sometimes I exaggerate these things just to give her a hard time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
We all enjoy it. She does too, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's like I went like screaming and wailing and like crying and like people walking on their knees up hills. Like,
Oh
that's
my
what
God, all bloody kneed. Oh no. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I can't believe he's
We need
gone.
Ed and his podcast. And then once their time is up, all right, I get up and
Oh,
walk away.
The other one too is I told her, I was like, I want a mausoleum, like above
Oh
ground,
my gosh.
like thing where people can come visit and still cry.
Jeez. Do you want like your face engraved in marble or something
No,
on it?
and then they could go inside and have a
Oh.
seat
Oh.
and then wail
And then wail inside.
inside.
And it'll echo in a way where people can hear it everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was an important guy right there.
maybe like a video running of like my highlights of my life.
God. Yes.
Yes, and then this would be like,
Yeah, that needs to happen for sure.
and like a QR code where they can subscribe to our podcast.
Yes, exactly. Still follow me on Instagram.
There's plenty to watch. I'm
There's
sure you haven't
plenty.
seen it all. You haven't seen it all.
Oh no.
That's funny. So, what I do think is that Bitcoin will be part of it.
Okay.
So it's gonna be Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's gonna be gold and it's gonna be silver.
Okay.
Like those are the three
things
big things.
Sound right. Yeah.
Oil is not going to be as important as it was the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like petroleum, like natural gas, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be as important. Farming land is going to be
Impossible.
immensely expensive.
Yes. Well, I mean, Bill Gates, China, all these.
Everybody's buying it all.
They're buying it up. They're buying it up. And it's sad.
And then they're going to regulate the hell out of the small farmers.
Yeah. Yeah. Close them all down. That's what's happening now with their, just like their property taxes, with, you know, and like there's ups and downs with the weather and things.
And it's also like the patents on the seeds.
Oh.
And that if their seed spreads to your farm.
People don't realize that. So Monsanto and their genetically modified corn, for example, there was this farmer, and it's happened to a lot of farmers. He had non-GMO, non-Monsanto seeds, and his fields of corn were non-Monsanto seeds. Okay? Not modified at all. A farmer next to him had genetically modified Monsanto seeds. The bees came, the wind came, all of it helped kind of cross-pollinate. So the Monsanto seeds, because you need a lot of corn to pollinate corn. You can't just have like 5. Like you have to have a ton to pollinate itself. So the field next to the Monsanto field was cross-pollinated because of nature with the Monsanto pollination stuff. And now the genes, the genetics of this corn that was non-Monsanto is Monsanto genetics. And so the farmer was literally being sued by Monsanto for copyright infringement. I believe it was copyright infringement. The farmers cannot fight Monsanto. They didn't do that on purpose. They don't even want that. They want natural corn.
Because in a sense, you're fighting. You're not fighting Monsanto. You're fighting BlackRock.
And they own.
Did you see that they burnt down BlackRock's building in France?
In France.
People are waking up.
It's getting real in France, and it's crazy because when
coronavirus, it's getting
real. When you look up what's going on.
That video you guys sent me. Is that her? Is that the same girl?
No, that's the Kardashians.
Oh. Who was the girl that said that thing?
Coronavirus is getting real. That's Cardi B. Yeah, you're like, I don't know.
I'm so disconnected with popular culture.
That's fine. You're not missing out. Yeah. We're just filling our minds with garbage. Yeah. But it's getting real. And when you look up what's going on in France on Instagram, you don't see any of it. They're like wiping it. Well, yeah, you see like, oh, me and my trip to the Eiffel Tower. You see pretty stuff. If you look up what's going on in France on TikTok, they're showing it. They're showing what's really, really going on, which it's interesting to see the censorship happen.
Wow. So there's censorship on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah. but not
Wow.
TikTok.
I wonder if like, what's the Rumble, True Social?
I'm sure it's all out there. Yeah.
What's the other one? I forget all that. The
I
different
need to.
platforms.
I'm on all of those, but I don't ever get
Get
on
on
all
them.
of those.
Yeah. BitChute, that's the other one. So there's True Social, BitChute, Twitter. I wonder what's Twitter.
I'm sure Twitter has it.
And then
It would only make sense for Twitter to have it.
I know there's one. There's another one. I can't think of it. But that's where it's going. You know what I mean? Is that all of them are going to be on their own platform. They're going to all be fighting against like censorship. It's funny to think that um, TikTok is actually somehow good for the American people.
Yeah.
You know,
It's-
they're really trying to shut it down. Though.
They are. I mean, that ban, the TikTok ban, they're selling it as a ban on TikTok, but it's so much more. It's censorship on everything.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See, I didn't know that.
They're calling it, what they're calling it. It's a TikTok ban. That's not what it is.
And that's coming from the conservative side, right?
Oh, yes. A lot of it's coming from the conservative side.
It's like the Ted Cruzes of the world.
Which makes me leery
Sus.
of those. It's so sus. It's conservatives should not be okay with censorship at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you read it and you see what's really in it, it's not a TikTok ban. That's not what it is.
Yeah, you got to get rid of like China.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like if TikTok's the problem, maybe have an American company buy TikTok, and because you want to keep, like, Instagram is tracking us too. You know, Facebook's tracking us also. All of them are tracking us.
They just don't want the back door
for China.
Yeah, the communist.
So is there a way to close that back door?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you would have to
have like major hackers.
You would
try
have to like
find
sell it to like Elon Musk or somebody.
Exactly. Somebody that you trust that is not in bed with China.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would have to then try to close up all the back doors that China has.
I went down a little bit of a road with Elon Musk recently.
And is he the Antichrist? What have you decided? I still think he's a bad guy, but I like him.
Yeah, so I think he's not the Antichrist.
Okay.
He's not the Antichrist. Because I think he has a troubled past.
Yeah.
You know, and I think his parents were like weirdos.
Yeah.
And I think his upbringing was strange. And then he read all these crazy books as a little kid.
Well, he was super, super smart.
Yeah, he was reading like,
but like in a good way.
He was reading like you know, what's that book that where you get Myers-Briggs from?
Oh, I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
He's that philosopher guy. Jordan Peterson likes him a lot.
I forget.
But he was reading all these like philosophy books, and like as a little kid, his mind's too like. Did you ever see the interview where the guys from what's those guys that make the comedy, the Christian comedy, and the conservative Christian comedy? They're like they've gotten banned a bunch of times.
Have they? I don't know. I don't know who they are.
And he went on their show. He went on their podcast.
I haven't watched that.
And then they had him like somewhat say a sinner's prayer on his podcast.
Did he know that he was doing that?
Yeah, they were leading him through it, why and this and this and that.
And he said it.
Yeah, he's like, well, if there is a God and you know he wants to have a personal relationship, like I accept it.
Whoa! How did I not see this? I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, and he talked a lot about how he was raised with no real religion, and like he went through a crisis in his life where he tried to figure out what life was about and why he's here.
Yeah, what's the purpose?
Yeah, and he says he studied all these different religions, right? And that's where he read, you know, the philosophers. And so it was cool and it was lighthearted, But I don't know. I don't know where he's at. I don't even know if he knows where he's at.
Mm.
In
Yeah.
his own belief.
Kind of lost in that way.
Yeah. And when you're super smart, it's very hard for you to get there.
Yeah.
Because it's not logical.
It's not. It really isn't.
It's the opposite of intelligence which is, I hate to say it that way, but
it's faith.
Yeah. It's like in the Garden of Eden, what they sold to Adam and Eve was a knowledge. It was a new type, a different knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And if you seek only knowledge
Mm-hmm.
rather than seeking a person,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you will always get led astray.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a
And
short right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you always seek knowledge rather than seeking a person,
Mm-hmm.
you will always be led astray.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Right.
And as humans, we want that knowledge. We want that understanding.
The forbidden knowledge.
Yeah, it's exciting. And when I was searching a couple of years ago, just trying to like understand things, I remember thinking like, well, why would God, because he's a good God, why would he not want us to know these things?
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and for a while there, I had decided, I think he would want me to know these things.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't reading my Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't seeking him. I was seeking my own thoughts of
Mm-hmm.
what he maybe might want for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, like all this stuff, like if tarot cards work, why would he not want us to? If this worked, if that worked, if crystals, blah, 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 whatever. Why would he not want us to know about them?
Mm-hmm.
And it really just comes down to I shouldn't have my faith in tarot cards. I need to have my faith in God.
Mm-hmm.
And if you believe in these physical things for other things or other your spirit guides or whatever it is, you're not believing in God for those things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the opposite of what God wants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So it's definitely one of those things that you need to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Or you at least need to fill up the other side enough to where you can dabble on this side to understand. What they say it in Christian circles, they say being prayed up. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think of it more as like you have to have that's your spiritual man fit, protected with the full body, the armor of God, to be able to go down those rabbit holes. Right? And that's why a lot of the way that I do this podcast is I want to share both sides. And then I want to instantly be like, okay, I want to, what does it say in the scripture? It says, take every thought into captivity in Christ Jesus. Don't let anything rise itself above the knowledge of God. So every time I bring something up, then I go, and then I bring it back down.
Yeah.
That's how I want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's okay for you to understand it, but you have to also take it in captivity.
Yeah. Yes. And not do those things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can know about it, but not.
Yeah, don't dabble
in those things.
Yeah. So if you think about it too, like the theory of all the planets and the stars, one thing is that biblically there's no planets. There's no
They only talk about stars.
They only talk about stars. He created the sun, the moon, and the stars. He didn't create planets. We don't even know what a planet is. We have these pictures of planets supposedly.
I know.
That aren't. We don't know what it's a planet.
But I love the idea of planets. I love the idea of all that.
Get your telescope.
I had one. You can see Jupiter and her rings.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily know what
Jupiter is.
What you're seeing.
Yeah.
It just looks like a ball.
Yeah.
And it's going like this. Like there's I want to tell you this. This is cool.
I just love space. Like
the
so much.
final frontier. Angels in Bible.
You sent me that video.
Pictures, right? And so there's like, I just Googled it, right? there's like this one,
The eye with the yes.
right?
That one freaks me out.
Right.
They're all
As you
so
said.
freaky. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them.
I just Googled it, and
Biblically accurate angels. If you
yeah,
look that up, there's a bunch of drawings of
yeah, because like
what
people
it
drew
was
'em.
described
Yeah,
in the Bible.
because they look crazy. Like that's a better picture of it. You can kind of see it. Like
It's like an eye with rings around it, and all the rings have eyes. Yes, that's a perfect picture.
you see it,
Yeah.
and that, in a sense, could be
Creepy.
what you see as the
Yeah.
planet,
Yeah.
because it could be stuck in the waters. Because the Bible says that He separated the waters from the
From
water,
the water.
and anytime you see um like stuff in um space,
Hmm.
it almost looks like it's going through water.
Yeah, it's like suspended in there. And
It's
sometimes
like,
the light has like a little bit of like a
yeah.
wave when you're looking at it.
So we don't know what that really means. I'm not saying I know exactly what it is.
Having Pastor Charles as our pastor, whenever words get brought up, like when you were saying water from the waters, because
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Charles is so good at getting the definition of the words and what that word was in the original text, and you know, because a lot of times the original text have two different meanings, and in context it could be something else, like it could have a different meaning because they translated it from Greek to English,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder with like the translation of all of that, if it
And
is
then-
water.
And then it's also Hebrew.
Yes, yeah.
So
There's
the
Greek
Old
and Hebrew.
Testament, the Old Testament is Hebrew,
Hmm.
and Hebrew is a funny language because Hebrew has like Hebrew idioms.
Yes.
Idioms.
Yes.
You know, so that there's like,
It's all very poetic. And
yeah, and
beautiful.
there's funny things to the language that if you don't understand Hebrew, you're not going to understand the language.
And not just Hebrew, but back in those times, you kind of had to use context of certain things for things to make sense.
Mm-hmm. And then in Revelations, um, they say the stars fell
Mm-hmm.
or fell like stars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right. So like we go from Bitcoin to falling angels.
To falling angels.
And the stars of heaven fell to the earth as the fig tree dropped its late figs when it is shaken by the mighty wind. And that's Revelations 6:13. So literally that's the way it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it understands. So like in Daniel it says, those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a bunch of these things that talk about it, and it's like,
well, and when I go down flat Earth rabbit holes, because I don't think the Earth is flat, but I like to go down all those rabbit holes because I'm a conspiracy theorist. I love it. There's a lot of people that talk about the different verses in the Bible that talk about the firmament and like all the things you're saying right now, and it's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's foolish to think that we really know what's going on.
Exactly. And I like that.
Leaving it open.
Yeah, because
You
I
don't have to
don't
have it.
know.
You don't
Like,
have to have it defined.
because we have so much evidence that we've been given, like pictures of Jupiter, pictures of this satellites that pass by. Like, I don't really know, you know. And then all of those videos of things that NASA has faked, like people like pretending to be spinning on the space station, and then their harnesses fall and then they fall. That's bonkers. Like, to me, I'm like, why are they faking that?
Did you ever see that one where Biden was walking by in
No.
like Houston,
Oh God.
and then they had a guy in the background, and it was him. He was the guy that's in all the videos, the NASA videos.
Okay.
And then behind him is a green screen.
Yes,
You
I
saw
did
that?
see that. I did see that. Yes. There's a lot of green screens. Like there was this one where you're supposed to be seeing this rocket like it's like in space, Earth orbit, and you see like the back of the rocket and then the background is Earth. and there's a rat running around on it.
Oh
You
yeah.
sent that one to
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, how the heck is a rat
In space.
in space
And it just rode a rocket
on
all the
this
way.
rocket,
Yeah.
and it comes out and it's like, okay, I'm gonna go back, and it runs. It's just running around. How? That's not a thing. You know, and it's like, why are they faking all of these things?
It's very
If it's
sus.
real, why are they faking it? But I don't know if it's not real, but I want it to be real because I love space and NASA.
Yeah. No, it's all fake.
Boo.
You've been lied to, people.
I just love it though.
There was this thing called the Cold War, and we had to win it.
Ah, so we faked it. Okay.
And we had better propaganda than
But
they did.
yeah, I don't think they realized that all of this footage was going to be so easily accessible later on. Because back in the day, it showed on the TV once, or however many times they wanted it to. It was grainy.
Yeah, it was
you know,
black and white.
Yeah, black and white. And
on a little
it's gone.
TV this
Yeah,
big.
You can't see stuff. And now you can search it and see it and find it and access it whenever you want because of the internet.
But they lost all that technology.
Yes, which makes total sense. Just lost technology.
From the 60s.
But they're going to try to do it again. Did you hear?
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. And I'm okay with not knowing.
I'm pretty sure we didn't go to the moon.
Yeah, because all of that stuff doesn't look real. And even just the thought of where was the like, who's holding the camera? Where is the camera when they're stepping off?
Yeah.
Who is that? Who put that camera out there and then they walked back up and then they pretended they walked back out?
It's less funny. Like, it reminded me of a comedian. There's this comedian, a Christian comedian. I forget his name. And then he was talking about those ladies that have the little button that they push when they fall and they can't get up.
Oh, the old ladies.
Yeah. She's like, I've fallen and I can't get up. And he's like, well, why doesn't the camera guy help him?
Yeah.
Because the camera guy's like right there.
He's right there. He's recording her.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. No.
He's like, one step for man, one giant leap for mankind. He's supposed to be the first person on the moon. But the camera guy's there.
There's somebody that has a camera there.
You know?
Or they set it up on a tripod and then walked back up and faked it. But no.
And how are they shooting live? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, especially with like all the radiation and their equipment. Like, if they did make it to the moon, maybe they had to fake it because the radiation ruined all the video stuff. Or I don't know. I want them to have made it to the moon. But I don't even know. I don't know.
But I do think that you should be prepared.
Yes.
And it's coming. The change of the currency is coming.
Yeah.
The Fed coin's coming, and it's coming quick. The Bitcoin's going to rally soon. So in the next 6 months, you better buy. 6 months, and that's when you want to buy.
Yeah.
Not financial advice.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hold until the end of the cycle.
Which will be like, because the cycle's 4 years, and we're like in the middle or the end of year 1.
Nah, I think we're in the year 2.
Or the second year already.
Let me
see.
see.
2 more years-ish, not financial advice.
Let me see. BTC. All you got to do is Google this. BTC 4-year cycle. Right?
Yes.
And you can see it here. All right. Let me see dates. Okay. Historically, Bitcoin has followed a 4-year cycle tied to Bitcoin halving event, which happens approximately every 4 years. A halving event marks a 50% cut of the Bitcoin reward miner receives for mining new blockchains verified transactions. In effect, the Bitcoin continues to increase. Okay. What is the 4-year Bitcoin cycle? That's not what it is. Will Bitcoin go up in the next 5 years? That's a stupid question. Okay.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find out what the cycle is. Okay. So the next Bitcoin halving is expected to take place in May of 2024. The latest Bitcoin halving was May 11th in 2020.
Oh, dang.
Mhm.
So next year.
So 2020.
Like almost exactly a year from now.
So it goes up in advance for people knowing that it's about to get halved.
Oh, okay.
So that halving
That sounds
shocks everything. So if you think about it, in 2020, and Bitcoin peaked. Let me look it up real quick.
The halving. That sounds creepy.
And Bitcoin today is 29.33. So November of 2021.
Okay.
So it was at like 64, 65,
Mm-hmm.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was July 2016.
The last one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then it halved in May of 2020.
Halving, like the half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was having, like HAVE.
Mm-hmm.
The halving. I'm like, ew, that's creepy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
like that better.
you go. So let's do the math. May 11th of 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and let's go back to November
Of 2021.
2021.
May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So that's 7 months plus November is 11 months. So 18 months
Yeah. So let's say there was.
from when it halved
So
to when it peaked.
mm-hmm.
It was about 18 months.
Okay. So the peak is going to be 18 months from May 22nd, 2024.
Okay.
So what's that?
November of the next year, 25.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the peak will be in November of 2025.
Okay. So you can still
Más o
buy.
menos.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But the bottom of the market is where we're at right now.
Yeah. And
Right.
then the numbers that you gave that last podcast, like the times 16, what was it, times whatever?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Something like that, times whatever it was. That number is crazy. I'm excited to see what happens.
Right? You can see it though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making these numbers
Especially if there's that much time. Yeah, 100%. If it was going to be next year in May, it'd have to get serious real fast.
Yeah. So now until November of next year,
Mm-hmm.
we pretty much want to have everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
No,
November of
peak
2025.
Of 25. Yeah.
So we have 2 years.
Yeah.
Almost.
Okay.
But if you want to get the bottom in,
Yeah.
you want to buy like in this next 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then just hold and wait.
Yeah.
So right now is the time to buy Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
If you get into, the end like a year from now, then that's when you have, like me, when you had to buy some altcoins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going to get any of the upside.
Yeah.
As much of the upside.
Yeah. As in like right now.
The big theory is that we might go into a super cycle this season.
What is a super cycle? You said that
super
earlier.
cycle meaning that it won't go back down.
Oh, it'll just keep going up. Whoa.
And that's the real fear. So the difference is this, is like...
Oh, jeez.
Mm-hmm,
I'm like, I don't want to sell. I just want to hang on to it.
Mm-hmm. So the idea is that you want to buy enough that where you can sell,
Mm-hmm.
change your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? You sell, you change your life, but you still have enough to protect against the super cycle.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And when you're protecting against the super cycle, that just means that you still have enough in there to grow with the super cycle.
If it does grow, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so you would need quite a bit of Bitcoin to be able to sell, let's say, half of it change your life, but keep some in there to continue to grow with a super cycle.
So there's two ways to look at it.
Okay.
And you'll have to tune into the next episode.
Oh, I know, because we're getting long too. We're
Yeah.
like at 1:30.
You have to tune
Next
into the next
episode,
episode.
guys.
Talk
Teaser.
about super cycle.
The 2 ways to do it, according to Ed.
All right, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
Go out there and have an adventure.
Yeah. And wear a hat.
Wear a hat.
Like Ed is doing.
And not a male purse. Do not do that.
No merces.
No merces. No satchels.
I keep trying to get Jake to have a satchel.
Just get a backpack.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what he has.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. What about short shorts on dudes?
Yes, for sure.
I really like short shorts.
Yeah, you could do the Magnum PI shorts for
Perfect. Okay. Fashion advice as well. Bye, guys.
sure. Bye-bye.